my god, I really don't like it.
Today, I'm taking you to another bizarre little town located in the heart of the Mojave. So buckle up because we're headed to Searchlight, Nevada. Just got to Searchlight. We're about 60 miles out of Las Vegas, basically in the middle of nowhere. Searchlight, Nevada is a tiny desert town sitting at the crossroads of the 95 and Route 164. It's nestled between two mountain ranges in the Mojave Desert. Small and quiet, Searchlight mixes its old mining history with its current role as a pit stop for road trippers, a spot for retirees to settle down, and a base for those heading to Lake Mohave for boating or fishing. Searchlight got its start thanks to gold. On May 6, 1897, a prospector named George Frederick Colton struck gold in the area, kicking off a mini gold rush. After doing some research, I found out that no one is exactly sure where the name Searchlight came from. There's a fun story made famous by local hero and former U.S. Senator Harry Reid that Colton joked you needed a searchlight to find gold in such tough terrain, and the name stuck. Others say the name might have come from a brand of matches or the town's location up on a hill, but Reid argued against the match theory since those matches didn't exist yet. By 1898, the Searchlight mining district was up and running, and the town even got a post office. Things really boomed in the early 1900s. Around 1907, the town had about 1,500 people, more than Las Vegas had at the time. Two big mines, the Duplex and Quartet, brought in around $7 million in gold and other minerals from 1907 to 1910. Back then, Searchlight had two main streets, a chamber of commerce, newspapers, phones, and a lively scene. At one point, nearly 5,000 people lived here, and this place was bigger than Vegas itself. The Barnwell and Searchlight Railway connected it to Needles, California, making it easier to ship ore and supplies. Life revolved around saloons, boarding houses, and shops. Despite being remote, the town had a strong community vibe. Unfortunately, like most boom towns, Searchlight's golden years didn't last. By 1917, the richest gold was gone and people moved on. A flood in 1923 wiped out the railway and it was never rebuilt. By 1927, only about 50 people remained. There were brief rebounds during the 1930s and 40s when Hoover Dam construction brought nearby jobs. During that time, a brothel called El Rey became one of the town's most infamous businesses until it burned down in the early 50s. The last big gold mine closed in 1953, ending Searchlight's mining chapter for good. Fast forward to 2025, and Searchlight is still holding on as a small, unincorporated town. Sitting along the well-traveled U.S. Route 95 between Las Vegas and Laughlin, it's a convenient pit stop for travelers and a peaceful hideaway for folks who want a slower pace. Known as the gateway to Lake Mohave, it's just 14 miles from Cottonwood Cove, a favorite spot for boating, fishing, and hanging out by the water. The lake brings in tourists, which helps keep the town going. The town doesn't have a ton, but it does meet some of the basics. There's an elementary school, and the local library branch offers a nice place to read or use a computer. Silver Rider, the public bus service, connects Searchlight to bigger cities like Las Vegas and Laughlin. The Searchlight Historical Museum is a small but proud operation that showcases the town's history with mining gear, photos, and quirky pieces like a wooden matchbox that doubles as a writing desk. The weather is classic Mojave, super hot in the summer with temps topping 100 degrees and chilly in the winter, sometimes dropping below freezing. When I stopped here in January, there was fresh snow on the ground. At 3,500 feet above sea level, Searchlight is a bit cooler than nearby lower elevation areas, which is a perk. Surrounded by Joshua trees and rocky hills, the desert scenery gives the town its rugged appeal. Still, its remote location can be tough, especially when it comes to everyday needs like grocery shopping. This is the kind of place you can't just pop over to a grocery store on a whim. The closest thing in town is Colton's Searchlight General Store. It's good for basics like chips, drinks, toiletries, but don't expect a big selection of fresh produce or specialty foods. For a full grocery run, you have two main options: Boulder City, about 40 miles north, or Laughlin, about 30 miles southeast. Depending on traffic, Boulder City can take about 45 minutes to reach, while Laughlin is around 30 to 40 minutes. Silver Rider can help with transportation, but it's not always convenient. So most locals plan ahead, making big trips to stock up. I'm always so fascinated with these small towns. I did see some fresh produce at one of the gas stations. Despite its size, Searchlight has not one, but two casinos under the Terribles brand, each with its own vibe and purpose. Terribles Casino is small and simple. It has a handful of slot machines and is connected to a gas station, a McDonald's, and a convenience store. This spot is clearly built for road travelers and truckers as a rest stop. Obviously, it's not ideal if you're looking for a classic casino experience. Terribles Roadhouse, just down the road, has a bit more personality. In fact, I even stopped in for a couple of drinks here. Wow, it's so cool and divey in here. It used to be the old Searchlight Nugget Casino, a longtime fixture in town that shut down in 2015. After new ownership and a remodel, it reopened as the Roadhouse. You'll know it's the Roadhouse because it's connected to a Denny's. Compared to Terribles Casino, the Roadhouse has a more welcoming feel and it was less crowded. The drinks were dirt cheap and everybody knew each other on a first-name basis. It's a little confusing to see two Terribles casinos so close to each other, but to clarify, in short, Terribles Casino is for a quick stop, gas, fast food, a few spins on the slots, and Terribles Roadhouse is where you'd go for a sit-down meal and a longer break from the road. Today, only about 445 people call Searchlight home. Searchlight is a tiny town with a big story. It had a gold rush back in the day, then went through some tough times, but it's still hanging on with a quiet desert vibe. These days, it's home to retirees, travelers, and people who like the slow pace and wide open space of the Mojave. The local museum and old mine sites help keep its past alive. It's crazy to discover how much history goes into a little town like this. This place really gives you a feel for life off the grid in southern Nevada. Let me tell you what happened while we were filming this video. We were out exploring and decided to drive up a road to fly our drone and grab some shots of the landscape. Everything was so still, there wasn't even the slightest breeze. Then, out of nowhere, 4 gusts in a row just hit us, and they were intense. I looked up into the sky and our drone had disappeared. It literally flew away. So we immediately hit the return to home button, which is this feature that I think most drones have, but saw nothing. The battery was dead and it made no sense. None of this had ever happened before. At this point, I was stunned. I was just trying to figure out what went wrong. So we pulled up to the last known location on the app. Thankfully, it wasn't too far, just on the other side of a nearby hill and off a different road that we could see on the map. We figured it was worth a shot, but I was already starting to accept that the drone was gone for good, which really wasn't a big deal in the grand scheme of things. I just really wanted the footage that we had already gotten on there. So we followed the map and it led us to this mostly unpaved dirt road that seemed harmless enough at first because there were homes nearby. Nothing too sketchy because people are clearly driving on it to get to their homes, right? But as we kept stopped driving, the road turned steeper and the surface was rougher and it was full of potholes. The app was saying we were so close, so we pushed on. And of course, we have a car that's capable of off-roading, so I wasn't really nervous about it. It's something we do all the time. Just as we were nearly there, we hit a deep pothole. Our tires got stuck and we were trying to accelerate forward and the car started sliding backwards. No traction, and this road wasn't just steep, it was narrow, unpaved, and bordered a steep drop-off. One wrong move and we would be over the edge. So as we're fighting to control the car, wheels spinning, sliding downhill on this tiny, thin, little dirt path with sheer cliffs to one side, we eventually managed to steer it down just enough to get control back, but it was terrifying. And that's how we almost fell to our deaths, and we never found the drone. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know where you want me to go next. I've been looking at the comments and seeing all of the great suggestions you guys have been giving me. I'm gonna try to get to all of them. Until next time, bye!